Hi guys, welcome back. All right, different project today. We are going to attempt to take this board and turn it into a desert sunset scene. So this is just a quick intro. This is a 3/4 inch MDF board that's been cut to size and routed by my husband. Then I went and primed it with 2 coats of gray Kilz, and then I hit it with some spray paint, especially on the edges. Wanted to make sure that those were dark and you couldn't see anything, even though when it runs over. Taped off the back, makes it easier for drips. I have it sitting on some painter's triangles, and you can see I roughly mapped out what was in my head. So this down here will be the desert, and then we'll start with yellow, orange, red, maybe a reddish brown, a deep purple. Up here will be black. So we'll see how that works. Again, it's a rough map just to kind of help me along with what's in my head. Doesn't mean the resin's going to stay exactly where I want it to. Colors and things I'm using real quick, we'll go over it. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow Casting Craft and this mica powder. I don't remember the brand, but it's called Fantasy Yellow. For the red, I'm going to do Casting Craft and this Picasso mica powder. It's called Blaze Red. Orange is going to be Picasso Sunburst. The reddish brown, I think I'm going to mix the Picasso chocolate with a little bit of Let's Resin red alcohol ink. We'll see. Up here, this Galaxy Purple by Resin Art. This stuff is so cool, but a little bit goes a very long way. So I want to use some of that in the sky. Down here, just plain old black Casting Craft. In here where I'm thinking a deep purple black, I think I'm going to use, again, I can't remember the brand. I'll see if I can find it. I'll make sure I put it in the description. This is called Solid Purple, and I wanted a little bit smoky, so maybe a little bit of the Pinata black alcohol ink. I'm going to use my heat gun with this nozzle on it. Hopefully that will work. And then I have a new little heat gun that I'm super excited to try. I got this little guy, found it on Amazon. I'm interested in it only because how small this is. I know I could buy tips for the bigger one that I have more concentrated, but I thought this would also be maybe easy to use when I do coasters. So that's why we have that. So quick intro, what we're doing, how we're doing it, maybe. I'm gonna get resin mixed up, kind of distributed throughout in all my little cups for the colors, and then we'll be back and we'll start to pour. Okay, we're back, we're ready to pour. You see, I had a fight with one of the powders. We got into it. So everything has been mixed up. So we're gonna start laying some colors out. I'm gonna start more in the middle of the board because I don't wanna lay that black too soon and it get pushed off. So we'll start with the yellow. I am using Pro Marine Tabletop, in case I forgot to say that. It is, it's a thicker epoxy. It's got about a 30-minute work time. So I do not warm this up ahead of time like I do when I pour 3D blooms or something, because I want to make sure I get the maximized time. And again, I'm kind of using that map I laid out to kind of gauge where I want these colors to go. I know I use a calculator, and to cover this board, you know, if I were just to pour it all on and to level out to an 1/8 inch thick, it would take 10 ounces. And that's actually what I've mixed up. I don't know. It may be too much when we all get going. I don't know. I did reserve some clear in case, one, I need to mix up a new color or to help things flow over the edge. So we'll see. So again, I'm gonna start laying colors in here and see what happens. I don't know, this could be a total disaster, snafu, who knows. All right, so orange, yellow, or yellow, orange, red. Here's kind of that reddish brown I made. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna use. So I'm trying to think of, you know, the sunsets in a desert, they're pretty vibrant. I live on the western slope of Colorado, so it's pretty arid, so we have some deserty kind of areas, if you will. So it's kind of built on basing this on. We'll see. I'm gonna warm it up, do a little bubbles. Ooh, this little guy's nice. Okay, so I think to try to blend some of these colors, I'm gonna start with just like a painter's knife, if you will. So just kind of spread this out a little bit. Try to keep some of what I was thinking in areas, but obviously I don't want harsh lines. I mean, there's no harsh lines in a sunset. So blend these, kind of move them, blend the colors in a little bit. So just trying to work it. I don't want it to start going over my edge just yet because I don't want all the color to run. But trying to blend them out, smooth them out. Just move it along a little bit. Let's see, let's wipe that off. All right, let's see if we can move them a little bit without going too nuts. Okay, so I'm not crazy about that tip. It just seems to like go really slow moving stuff. So we're gonna switch guns. Turn it on. There we go. Okay, that's better. All right, so we're gonna add some of that deeper purple up here. And blend that in. Again, I'm trying to think, okay, night sky, what would that look like? Colors. Not moving it quite like I want. All right. I feel like right now my lines are way too defined. So what if we just kind of move it a little bit and see what happens? Start pushing it closer to that edge. Okay, do the same up here. Just, I don't know, soften that line a little bit. It just seems very harsh, if you will. Not sure I'm liking that yellow. Almost looks a little green rather than yellow. And this may not be the only layer I put on this. I will probably see how this all settles out, and I'm guessing I'm gonna add another layer onto it. Only because I really don't like that yellow. That yellow is just not there for me. All right, I'm gonna add some of the black only because I don't want this setting up too much on me and getting too warm in this cup. All right, we need black down here. I'm gonna leave a bit of a gap because I wanna be able to add some clear, because I don't want the sunset running all the way down and off the board. Just try to put the black. Take him up here. Encourage him to start running off that edge. Like I said, I do have clear in reserve, so I have to mix up another color real quick and add. I can. It's important to make sure that, you know, if you want to run it over the edges, you're going to have to work it to make sure you don't have any dry spots, create chin-chin points, that things won't move. All right, we're going to do this Galaxy Purple. Like I said, a little tiny bit of this stuff goes such a long way. Like, probably gonna regret doing this over my picture. Like, just a tiny bit of this to start goes a really long way. So, see, as soon as you start, look at that. Like, it looked like big, huge flakes, but as soon as you mix that in, it just goes crazy. So I want to, and I like it because there's so much sparkle, so it can almost mimic stars in the sky. So I want to lay just a row of this right here to try to blend that up. All right. I'm going to put some clear down here to keep these guys a little more separated. Maybe we'll add just a little bit of clear through here. Maybe help soften some of those lines. I don't know. I've never done one like this before. I'm winging it. Hands are sticky. All right, let's grab the heat gun again. I better close this up though. Close that up or I'll send it flying everywhere. Okay. I am most certainly going to come back in and end up doing another layer. This looks green rather than more yellow, but it's okay for a base layer. So I'm just going to start taking some of these colors that I have, and I'm going to start working them kind of around these edges to make sure my edges aren't dry. And try to keep them in the color family of where they are now. So obviously, you know, the black, the purple, Run those edges. Hot mess, check. Let's see, maybe I'll use a stick to kind of encourage it. Yeah, I thought the mica powder would be good, but it really, when it hit towards that black, I don't know, it turned more neon green. So I'm just running this on the edges like this to kind of give it some more color, help it flow over better, disguise what I don't like. Kind of just coat the sides, help the whole piece just flow. Okay, that one's pretty much done. Stuck to me though. Grab some of the red, put it on here, just let it pull. Now I'm gonna have to figure out what color of that red that I really want, because I'm not, or not the red, sorry, the yellow. I'm holding the red in my hand. So again, I'm just trying to hit that on the sides, let it run over more. Coat the edges. Now I'll probably, ooh, super sticky. Use some of the clear I kept in reserve for down here in the black. Again, yep, applying a lot of it. I want it kind of, luckily with it being the black, the clear just kind of will mimic that color anyways. So just running my hand along the edge. And I'll probably just keep the clear all the way around. So again, I'm just gonna run that edge, make sure there's no dry spots where color's not gonna flow over nice and even. So I'd say that's probably gonna be it for this first layer. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore other than some bubbles, because I definitely have bubbles coming out. So I'll spend some time, I'll do a little torching, some bubble mitigation, see if there's any floaters that I don't like, pick those out. Let this set overnight and then come back tomorrow and we're gonna do another layer on top of this. And that's really because I don't like the yellow. I don't like how the yellow went into the orange. These two are not quite as vibrant, I guess, as I was hoping for. But for a base layer, I think it'll work. We'll tweak it some tomorrow with another layer. So I'm gonna get everything cleaned up, get her covered up, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hi guys. All right, welcome back for round 2 of this painting. So, first layer, I hate this. I'm not gonna lie, I despise this right now. Funny story is I came out to check on it last night, lifted up the cover going, what am I gonna do about this? My husband comes out, he looks at it, he goes, oh, well, that's pretty. And apparently I gave him a look, because then he looked like a deer in headlights going, maybe not. So we're gonna see what we can do with this today. One thing I realized that I didn't do under these colors, and maybe I should have, maybe this would have blended a lot better, is I didn't put any clear. I should have maybe coated this in a little bit of clear, put these colors, and then I think my lines would have blended better. But maybe at the same time, having this as a base layer and we're going over it with some colors might look good. So I'm gonna start off with getting some clear on this guy. We're gonna do that a little bit different. See if some clear on here will help. I don't know, blend our colors better, because right now I'm kind of wanting to throw this guy out the window. I'm not gonna lie. There's like a smidgen left in there, but I'm just gonna leave that. So I'm gonna spread this clear over here. So what don't I like? I hate the yellow. I kind of think we talked about that yesterday. Just, I don't like how the yellow looked. And I'm hoping that today we can maybe fix that some and make it look a little bit better. Trying to just get this clear spread around. I don't really want it going off the edges yet. Trying to keep it more in the board. On the board, I should say, not in the board. On more the middle of the board. I'm going to go over things today, I think primarily in alcohol inks. I do have some mica powders out in case I think, wow, that would look so much better if it had a little more mica powder. So I don't know. We're going to see. I know I'm going to increase the size of that black down there. I think that's a little too small, and I think maybe that also might be throwing me off. So let's just hit this up. Let's use the other gun. Warm this up a little bit. A little bubble mitigation. Okay. So I have a bunch of little cups like everywhere, all kind of colors mixed up and ready to go. So I'm going to use all the colors I talk about. We're going to use the Let's Resin alcohol ink. Except for the black, I will use Casting Craft again. But the rest of it, we're going to use all, I don't know, we're going to use alcohol inks and see if that helps. So we'll give it a shot. We're going to see what happens. We're going to start layering on some colors and hopefully it'll go a little bit better than it did. And I may regret having it in these small cups for mixing purposes, but I'm not going to switch everything around now, I guess. And I'm going to add a little more yellow to this because I don't want it quite as transparent. But like I said, I didn't like the way the mica powder looked. I don't know, it looked just off. I don't know how else to describe it other than off. So, again, hopefully I can get this to work without really using a whole lot of the mica powders, but I don't know. We'll see. And I think I made the yellow too wide for what would be considered the actual sun part coming up. So I don't know, maybe this will help. Maybe this will make it worse. I don't know. We'll put a little bit of the yellow, set him over here. What do we got next? Let's have an orange. We'll try some. I'm hoping layering some alcohol inks will help this somewhat, not look so bojankety. So again, just kind of repeating some of the colors that we had in the mica powders, but I'm going to try to do them in inks instead, blend them a little more, and see what happens. I suppose at the end of it, if it's really horrid, I can just sand it and make something else out of it, I guess. I don't know. But I'd hate to have to do that, you know, and waste the resin that's already down. So I'm going to pour out some of this orange, but I'm going to keep a little bit of it in case I decide I do want a little bit of mica powder in there and see what happens. So we'll put that there. Let's do a reddish orange next. And then we'll work our way up into red. Maybe if this color will come out. We'll see. All right. Yeah, so I am totally trying to wing this and see what happens. Again, it may not work with alcohol inks trying to correct it. We'll see. It may or may not work. I do see lots of bubbles, but being that we're gonna warm this up, blend it, and move it around, we'll see what happens. So let's put some of that red orange. And we'll keep a little bit of it back in case, again, in case I decide that, yeah, these need a little more oomph to it, I guess. We can put in some mica powder. All right, now we'll mix up some of alcohol ink. Let's see how this goes. I guess it's the one thing that's kind of fun about doing these is it really is kind of an experiment to see what can I do? What can I move? What can I change? How will this change this, or how will that change that? And just kind of run with it. I don't know. We'll see. All right, now let's put down some of the red. Again, we'll hold some back in case I need to put a little bit of mica powder in it, and then put that on there and see what happens. All right, let's wipe my hands. I do have up here in the sky, I do have some midnight blue and some purple that we're gonna put in there, but right now we're gonna see what happens with this. See if we can make this look a little bit better. Right, so the colors are definitely improving. That much, absolutely for sure. They are definitely improving. I think let's work up here in the sky a little bit, and then we'll come back down here. So I have a little bit of midnight blue. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna grab a little bit of a midnight blue mica powder. This is a Picasso midnight blue. We'll put just a tiny little bit in there. See if we can make something look a little bit better. And I guess if worst case scenario, this layer doesn't look quite like I'm hoping, I suppose we can always add another layer on top of it. Eventually, I don't know. How many layers can you actually go before it just is beyond help? All right, mix this up real well. Make some theme music going or something. Okay, so let's run this up in here. Over that clear. Maybe we'll, before it all runs off the edge, maybe we'll try to blend it out a little bit. It'll still get moved around, but we'll see. Okay. If nothing else, we've discovered how to make a hot mess. All right. I want to add a little bit more of this galaxy, especially going over that blue. So I'm going to take some more of that Resin Art Purple Galaxy in a little cup, and I think we'll add a little bit of alcohol ink to it too, just to see what happens. So again, a small amount of this purple. Before I mix it, you guys can see, I just a tiny bit in there. This stuff just like, boom, there we go. I don't even think I'm going to add any alcohol into that, quite honestly, because that is pretty vibrant the way it is. All right, so let's take it and put some in there, see what happens. All right, better cover this up, because it'll be my luck that I'd knock it over or hit it with a heat gun, and then I'd have Purple Galaxy all over the garage. All right, let's see. right, maybe it'll work. Let's take the red that we had, and we're gonna add a little bit of mica powder to it, and we'll add that in and see what happens. So this is the Picasso Blaze Red. And like I said, I like these because they're just like little shaker tops. Makes it super easy to get kind of just a small amount out, because they do have that little shaker to them. All right. Okay, it might work. Again, it's such a small cut. I really don't want to do much more than just a very light sprinkling in there to see how it goes. But who knows? Maybe it'll be okay. All right. Let's try putting some of this in there and see what happens. Da-da-da. Again, not trying to put a whole lot, just a little bit. Okay, then we're going to take the orange. Maybe we'll take the orange and the red orange together, because there's not that much of either one. So, hey, let's combine them and see what happens. Oh, sticky mess. All right, so in that, because I just mixed up the orange and the red orange alcohol inks into one, I'm going to take a little bit of this orange mica powder, just a tiny bit, because I think that was my problem, is I just used too much mica powders on that first layer, didn't give it a clear base to kind of blend with, made it a little bit harder to blend, and I ended up with, I don't know, looks lumpy. I know it's just the powders in it, but they just look lumpy. So we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm thinking I want to run this more in an arch fashion, because I'm thinking that I'm going to come back in and I'm going to mix up a little bit of mica powder yellow, or not, a little bit of resin with some yellow casting craft, and make more of a concentrated round sun. Ooh, kind of in this area, because I know I'm going to increase the black. Make that black a little bit bigger so it doesn't look as bojankety. All right, let's move this around and see what we think. All right. Okay, so definitely starting to kind of like that better. I think we need a little more, the blue, it ran off the board up here. That's what I get for pushing it so hard. So I'm gonna put blue. I don't know, and I guess part of it too is beauty's always in the eye of the beholder. So maybe somebody might think this looks really good. Maybe somebody might look, it looks like a big pile of you know what. All right, so rather than blowing that, because this is pretty warm, let's see what we can do with our little spatula guy. Maybe something like that. Almost maybe kind of like clouds. Ooh. nighttime clouds are dark. They're usually not pretty clear. So, all right. Looking a little better. A little. Needs some help down here. Definitely needs help down there. Where's that orange? I need to camouflage some of that some more. So I'm just gonna kind of run the stick through like this. I don't know. Like I said, it's the worst that's gonna happen. Not gonna be quite as pretty as we thought. I don't know. All right. So two things. One, I need to blend that a little bit. It's a little harsh lines. Okay, wipe this off. So now I think we blend this a little bit. Blend it kind of up. Mix them, maybe lighten it. I don't know, maybe this is more of an abstract sunset. Oh, either way, it'll all work out in the end. Okay, so that's looking better. And again, I think if I would have gave that a layer of the clear to begin with before we did that first layer, I think I probably would have had a much better result from the get-go. All right, so not too bad right now. All right, so now I want to work on this down here. So I'm going to do it with resin, but I also figured, well, if I really have to, I can always paint the black if I don't like the bottom, if it's not exactly what I was hoping it to be. I can paint it. Ooh, I need to work quickly. This is warming up. It's not too bad, but it's a little warm. And I guess, I don't know, it's all interpretive, right? All right, so let me think about this. If I push it, if I start it there, it's gonna start pushing. So I'm okay with that because this doesn't belong. So let's run our landscape more this way. Kind of that desert bottom, if you will. And now back pour it in a little bit. All right. Just trying to get that to marry up. Like I said, and if this doesn't turn out quite right, I'll just come in with some black acrylic paint and help it along as far as a color being more black. I'm hoping if I can actually get this part of it to work where I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool, to do some cactuses, whether I attempt to paint or draw them on, or if I use some vinyl, because I do have a Cricut, so I might make some vinyl cactuses instead. All right, let's mess with the edges here. See what happens. Well, at least this part's looking a little better. All right, so I use my stick and kind of pull that black off the edges. Get this to flow over. See what happens. Cover that up a little. All right, so I don't know, maybe it won't be a complete and total loss. We'll just wing it. All right, very good. Okay, looking better. Let's do some dots and bubbles here. All right, I don't want to use the heat gun too much because I don't want to start pushing it off the board and too much. All right, let me grab a torch. All right, better. All right, need to start working on these edges. So I'm just gonna pick up some of this that fell down, and fall down. It flowed off. I don't know why I said fall down. And worry about these edges, kind of making sure it all comes around. Okay, so may not be hating it as much as I did. Definitely starting to improve the look. Again, oh, mess. That first layer, before I put any color, I think I should have probably laid down some clear. I think we may be having a completely different story if I would have laid down that clear to begin with. But that's just my theory. All right, so let's take, we're just gonna monkey a little bit. Just to, I'm dipping it in a little bit of that orange that's left just to try and kind of blend these lines a little bit, but I don't want to put a whole lot of color in here. I'd just rather have what's on the stick to kind of blend this, if that makes sense. Boy, there is a mess everywhere on this, isn't there? I like this part. That's kind of pretty. Oh. Don't pull too hard. You'll pull the top right off of there. Hold on, I'll grab another one. All right, we'll use a different one. That was hilarious. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to blend those lines a little bit. Blend them without swirling, which, I don't know, apparently for me right now is not as easy as it seems. Okay, I think I'll quit. Other than I'm gonna try and create a bigger mess. We can do that. More of a concentrated yellow, like sun area. I don't know if it's gonna work. So I have just a tiny little bit in here. Let's see. Oh, I still have clear in here. Let's see if we can get that out before it goes wonky. Oh boy, it's getting really thick. I'm pushing this working time, you guys, really bad. Really pushing. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Again, this is one of those, it's in my head. I don't know if I can pull it off. We'll see. So it's getting pretty thick. Good. I'm hoping if I just make more of what would have, like the brighter part of the sun before it was totally set. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm okay if it doesn't look totally perfectly round. I mean, when you look at the sun when it's really bright and it's setting, and there's kind of a little bit of a distortion to it, maybe. I don't know. Let's see this little tip here. I can't pull this around and make it look a little more symmetrical, possibly, kind of, sort of, something. Better. Maybe better. I don't know. We're just gonna, I said I don't like that yellow, so maybe if I, oh, That might make it worse. This might be making it worse. Now I feel like a 2-year-old finger painting. Don't ask me. I'm gonna take on the, don't ask me, I just live here. Okay. Use the tip, maybe blend it a little more. I guess if nothing else, if it doesn't turn out, we'll just have a video of epic fail. Okay. All right. So, we'll torch. We got this made up a bunch of bubbles. And I don't know, maybe sunsets aren't my thing. Maybe I'm not meant to do sunsets. I work more on night, starry, whatever. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry and we're gonna see what happens. We'll see how it still moves. I think it looks better than it did yesterday. And like I said, some of this, you know, maybe I'll go in after it's dry. You know, maybe we'll paint with some acrylic to kind of maybe come in a little bit more, cover up some of this, maybe sharpen that point a little right in here. And then see what happens. I mean, maybe it'll turn out good, but we'll work on that. I think that's gonna be painted. And then, I don't know, maybe if I get some cactuses in there, it'll look a little more realistic. I don't know, it's a journey. We're having fun. I guess it's part of learning and experimenting. We get to play and make abstract art. So, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna let it dry. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, here we are the next morning. This really didn't change that much. You know, the sun drooped a little bit as it was drying. So I came in with just some black acrylic paint and I don't know, redid a landscape to the best that I could. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I do have some, you know, little cactuses I think about, you know, putting in here. I'm gonna attempt to the best of my ability, you know, obviously the bigger ones, make them appear closer, you know, and then I got some little guys maybe to put up here. Since they're smaller, they'll look further away. I don't know, we'll see. So what this really kind of reminds me, like when there's wildfires, at least where I'm from, we get a lot of wildfires. I live in the western slope of Colorado, so we get a lot of wildfires. So almost looks like, you know, a sunset where maybe there's a wildfire behind it burning. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. But, so the next thing is, obviously, I need to let all this paint dry. So we're good and dry. And then figure out what I'm doing with cactuses on here. I don't know. I thought about hand drawing them, but I'm lucky I managed to paint this landscape in here without screwing it up too much. So that'll be the next process. I'll update you when I figure out some cactuses, and then we'll get it clear, and then she'll be done. All right, so better or worse? There it is. I still need to get a clear coat on it, but we'll see. I was gonna put more cactus on it, but I don't know. I think that's plenty. So I'll layer down, get a clear coat on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, clear coat's on her. You can see it's still dripping off the sides. I'll come through with a stick and wipe that several times, but for good or bad, there she is. It was fun creating her. I don't know how I feel about exactly how she turned out. I suppose could have been better, could have been worse, but either way, it's fun. So tomorrow, after she's cured and I can get her off of her triangle stand, I'll see about getting a good picture of her and maybe some decent light. So, I don't know. I hope you guys had fun watching the video. Maybe you learned a few things either to do or not to do. So if you did, give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks for watching.